Hello and welcome to another live AM language lesson. I'm Richie and today it's modal verbs of deduction. Make sure you follow the lesson whether you watch now or later in the live chat section because that's where the action happens. As always, please make sure that if you are new, please make sure you subscribe. And as always, like the video as well. Roberto, good afternoon. Buono pomeriggio, and welcome to today's lesson. Irina F, as always, thank you so much for joining. Privyet. Yes, privyet. Thank you very much for joining today. I hope you're well. Beck, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining today, and I hope you enjoy it as well. And we also have Evelina. Welcome to today's lesson. Buono pomeriggio as well. So, guys, this week we have been looking at modal verbs of just modal verbs. Sorry, we've been looking at modal verbs. So, if I remind myself, we have looked at. On Monday, we looked at people and places, and we looked at the modal verbs can and will. On Tuesday, we looked at health and medicine, and we looked at could and would. On Wednesday, directions and places, which was yesterday, we looked at should and ought to. And today, we're going to look at the topic of crime with might, may, and must. So that's today's topic. And then tomorrow, Friday, we will have a look at all of these modal verbs that we've looked at throughout the week. So make sure that you join us tomorrow for that one. Now, in today's lesson, modal verbs of deduction, allow me to explain, first of all, what we mean by modal verbs of deduction. Okay, modal verbs of deduction. Now, modal verbs of deduction isn't something you're going to learn at a lower level. You will usually learn this at a slightly higher level. However, there will be something in it for everybody, so not to worry. Modal verbs of deduction are used, okay, to think about what happened in the past. Okay, so we look at something in the past and we try to think, what happened here? What's the answer? Why did this happen? Alida says, good afternoon, Alida, and welcome to today's lesson. Buenos dias, because you are in Patagonia. Effectively, we are asking, it goes back to simple questions, okay? What happened? How did it happen? Why did it happen? And who was involved? Who was involved, or who did what, effectively? Okay. We use modal verbs of deduction to answer these simple questions. Okay. So we're going to create a scene here. The scene is this. We're going to look at it from a crime. Okay, we're going to take a crime. We're going to do like a murder mystery sort of thing. Okay. We have two dead bodies in a room. There is only one door to this room. And the safe is empty. There is one window in the room as well. So this is our crime situation. We have two dead bodies. We have an empty safe. There's only one window and there's only one door. Okay, so then the question is, what happened? So that's the first thing. So we'll eventually come back to try and answer this. So I'm now going to we're going to start off with might and may. Now it's important to know that when we use might, we are usually talking at something at around 40%. May is usually closer to 50%, but really and truly, they're roughly the same. Okay, may and might, they're both talking about 40 or 50%. Typically speaking, might is probably more on the 40ish side, and may is closer to the 50 side. Some books might say something slightly different. It does depend on what book you use. But if ever you're not too sure, just consider them to be roughly the same. Okay? You are thinking of possibilities. And that's the first thing that we need to know. So let's now look at the following, and we're going to try and work out what this means, what these mean over here. Okay? So sentence A. The woman might have been shot with a pistol. Okay, so if we were to say the woman might have been shot with a pistol. Okay, so you could start off with something like that. If you wanted to turn it into a question, it could also be, okay, so the woman might have been shot with a pistol. Might it be the case that she was shot with a pistol? Let's go with sentence B. C. E. Okay, so we've got 4 questions here. As you can see, they're all talking about the past, but let's see if we can get the grammar structure first. Okay, 1. Okay, and 2. Okay, we're going to start off with this. We've got 1, modal verb plus have plus past participle when stating a possible past action. We obviously would have our subject before that. Or 2, modal verb plus be the case plus past simple question. I should add to one, we should have the subject before. Okay, so we've got 4 sentences, but we've only got 2 options. Try and link option 1 to the sentences that you think it goes with, and link option 2 with the sentences or questions that you think it goes with. So for instance, you could go with something like A goes with 1. So just write it like that, A1 or A2, for example. So Roberto's come in saying A1, B2, C1, D2. Alida has said A1, B2, C1, D2. So those are the same answers. Debec, Evelina, Irina F, what do you guys think? Do you agree with Roberto? Do you agree with Alida that those are the answers? Here we are just looking at the grammatical construction of these modal verbs, using these modal verbs when talking about the past. Debec says, okay, so Debec, I'm guessing you agree with them. Okay, so let's see if you guys are right. So, answer to A. A, the woman might have been shot with a pistol. This is, you guys have said this is sentence 1. So, subject, modal verb, have past participle when stating a possible action. Yep, that's absolutely fine. B, we've got, might it be the case that she was shot with a pistol? Okay, you guys have said 2, modal verb plus be the case plus past simple question. And you guys would be right. Notice that when you go with a question, we're going to go with a past simple in the end, but we need might it be the case. So we've got to link it before we use it in the past simple. Otherwise, it's going to be we're not going to be able to do it. So be the case is really important. Um, it's not to say you can't ask questions with the first form, because you can, and it depends on your intonation. You're saying that C goes with 1. He may have tried to take. He may have tried to take the money. Sorry, he may have tried to take the money. That should be like that. He may have tried to take the money, not to taken the money. That would be incorrect. Alida says he might have tried to take her money, question mark, or no, it should be take. It should be take, Alida. It should be take. He may have tried to take the money, her money. Yes, take. And finally, you're saying D goes with 2. May it be the case that he tried to take her money? Okay, there we go. Yes, D goes with 2. Okay, well done, guys. Now, be the case. This is really important. You've got some alternatives. Might it be the? Might it be the? Might it be the case? Might it be that? Might it be? Got a few options potentially, but it's really important that you use that. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to create a question with might or must, might or may. Okay, guys, good. So off to a good start there. So next thing, now let's look at must. Okay, now must is, of course, 100%. So how do we use this when we're talking about the past? Same sort of thing again. Let's see how it works. A. A, think B is missing. It must. Yes, that is the case, actually. Sorry. Thank you, Alida, for pointing out B is missing. Yeah, it must be the case. Yes. Sorry, guys. I'll take that away. That one there. Yeah, A, yes, you must be. Thank you very much, Alida. So we've got A. It must be the case that she had stolen the money. B, she must have seen the car coming. C, don't you think the motivation must have been the money? And D, John must have known. So the question is, how do we do this? And two. So you've got these two options again. You've got four sentences, but you've only got two options here. Try and link option one, option two to A, B, C, and D. And let's see what you guys come up with. So like I said, guys, must is like 100%. You are certain of something. This is not maybe or might. Very different. The key element here is just knowing how to create the sentences properly. And that can be the more challenging aspect. Alida says A goes with 2, B goes with 2, C goes with 1, and D goes with 2. Well, is she right? That's the question, guys. What do you think? Is Alida right? If you think Alida's right, just let me know underneath. If you think you can see anything that's slightly different, let me know as well. A2, B2, C1, D2. Let's see if you guys agree with her. Evelina says that she agrees. Okay, guys, well, I can confirm. It must be the case that she had stolen the money. Of course, this is going to be 2. Okay, so we all agree with the leader. Well, A is 2. Debeck also agrees. You're saying B is 2 as well. John must have known. Yep, that's going to be 2 as well. You're saying that C is 1. Let's just remind ourselves. Don't you think? Yep, C is going to be 1. And that makes D 2 as well. Okay, guys, now that we've done that, let's now have a little look at the next challenge. You guys now need to try and complete the sentences below with either might or may, and you need to get the rest of the structure correct as well. So if I write something like this, okay, I might put this in. So I might write something like this. I've given you almost nothing. I've given you it and John, but I've told you in the brackets that it's question and it's 100%. So you would then have to try and think, right, how am I going to create a question? And how am I going to put this answer in where this is 100%? So you would then write something like, oh, must it be John? Oh, close, close. The answer here, for example, would be, don't you think it must have been John? Okay, and then you would write the answer there. So that's how this is going to work. In some cases, I'm going to give you a little bit more. I'll give you an idea of certain other words as well, just to help you out. Okay, but that's how this activity is going to work. Let's see how you guys do. Okay, so this is B. You can see here I've given you a clue of the verb as well that you need to use, and you can see here that this is going to be 100% certain. C. C, something that she didn't hear the window break. Here, this is a possibility. You're going to need more than one word here because you're trying to create a question. So don't forget about that. De Burke says for B, she must have seen. And Roberto agrees that she must have seen the man who killed her. We'll see if you two are correct. I'm going to put up a couple more sentences and then we'll go through all of them. But it looks like you guys could be off to a good start. D. For C, some of you have come in already. De Burke says it might be the case. It might be the case that she didn't hear the window break, therefore. Alida says for B, it would be she must have seen the man who killed her. So we can see that Alida agrees with Roberto. For C, Roberto says, might it be that? Might it be that she didn't hear? Okay. Might it have been, sorry, De Burke says, might it have been? This is for C, yes. Might it have been that? I would say that if you're talking about C, De Burke, your first answer would be correct. Stick to your first answer if you're talking about C. Leader says, might it be the case? Okay. Right, we're beginning to see a pattern here. This is encouraging. Roberto says for D, they may have been unaware that they were being watched. Okay, let's see what you guys say about that one. Finally, let's go with and that is for D. Ooh, okay, so that's E as well. Something they think they were going to be killed. This is 100%, and it's also a question. A leader says for D, they might have been unaware that they were being watched. Okay, so there's a few answers here that you guys are in agreement with. I'll let you guys answer question E, and then we'll go through the answers, and then we'll then get back to our original problem that we had at the start of the lesson. And we'll see also if you guys are right. Once you know how to use modal verbs of deduction, it makes things very easy when trying to talk about problems in the past or mistakes. So this type of language is really good to know. Let's see what your answers are for E before we move on to the next activity. But I would say so far things are looking really good. So we'll see what you guys come out with. I do not expect people of an elementary level to necessarily do all of this or even pre-intermediate. This is a little bit more challenging. Absolutely, definitely. However, there are certain basic elements that still need to be done. So we're just waiting for your answers for E, and then we'll have a little look. Okay. At the rest of your answers, Alida says, must they think they have known they were going to be killed? Today is complicated for me. Sorry, says Evelina. Not to worry, Evelina. This is going to be a little bit too difficult probably for elementary to try and create everything. But make sure you keep watching though and take down notes. It will still help. This is because there's missing language in terms of creating present perfects, for example. But once you can create the present perfect, Evelina, this then becomes a little bit easier. And DeBuck says, don't you think they were known? Okay, so E is the one that's probably the most difficult here. I'll tell you what the answers are. Okay, so the first one over here, A. Oh, right, no, we did A. We started from B, didn't we? Okay, so the answer for B, guys, would be this. She must have seen the man who killed her. That would be the answer for number for B. She must have seen the man who killed her. You can see that you've got must, you've got have been, and then to complete the sentence, you're using a past simple. For C, you are absolutely correct, guys. Again, the correct answer for C here is, might it be the case? And that would be correct. Roberto says for E, they must think they might have known they were going to be killed. Okay, we'll have a look at E. D, they might have been unaware that they were being watched. Yes, that would be correct. They might have been unaware that they were being watched. That would only turn into a question if we change our intonation. And finally, we've got E. E is probably the hardest, and I'll tell you what E is, okay? Don't you think they must have known they were going to be killed? That's the hardest one. Don't you think they must have known they were going to be killed? That would be that's the hardest one of them all. Anyway, overall, well done, guys. Now, I just want to talk about one other thing over here, okay? Before I move on. And I'm just going to introduce something here for anyone of a lower level, okay? And this is for something for all of you to know, because some people ask this question: what is the difference between have to and must? Okay, and it's a good question to ask. So, just to let you know, guys, have to, external, must, internal. Okay, what this means is Have to is to do with other people telling you. Must is for yourself. So if you say, I have to do my homework, you are saying that this pressure of have to is coming from your teacher, for example. If you say, I must do my homework, then you are saying that's coming from you, not your teacher. And that is the difference between have to and must. And sometimes it's a bit of both. So if you're driving, you would say, I have to wear a seatbelt because it's the law. But I must wear my seatbelt for my own protection. And that is the simple difference between have to and must. Okay, guys, so let's get back to our question that was at the start of our lesson. And we're going to have to try and think of, well, what's happened really? What is this situation? So we have two dead bodies in a room. There's one door, one window, and safe is empty. Okay, so the first thing is this. The door lock looks slightly broken. The first question is, how did the killer get into the room? That's my question, guys. What do you think? Okay, so we've got this first thing over here. The door lock. Sorry, door lock is one word, not two. The door lock looks slightly broken. How did the killer get into the room? That's my question. What would your response be? You need to use this language of modal verbs of deduction. You could use might, you could use may, maybe you are going to go with must. I just want to see what your answers are. Okay, so that's the question. How did the killer get into the room? You've got two dead bodies. You've got one door. You've got one window. And the safe is empty. How did the killer get into the room? So that's the question. What do you think the answer to that question might be? We know that the door, something doesn't look right with the door. So De Burgh said he might have got into through the door. So that's De Burgh's question. Maybe some people have a similar answer to that. What I would say there is he might have got. Then you've got a choice into the room or through the door, De Burgh. So it's either into the room or might have he might have got into the room through the door, or you could go via the door. Both would be correct, but that's for you, De Burgh. You just need to put in room there. Alida says the killer might have broken the door lock. Okay, there we go, and that would be a good sentence. So both of them, you're using the right type of language. Okay, next thing. There is there are okay. Second question. There we go. So next one. There are two bullet holes in the window. There are four bullet holes in each dead body. What might have happened? So there are two. The killer is more accurate, says Debek. Okay, well, we'll see. Let's see what you guys go with over here. So this is the next bit of the puzzle. There are two bullet holes in the window. There are four bullet holes in each dead body. What might have happened? So we first think that maybe someone came through the door, but now there are bullet throw holes at the window. So what do you think might be the case? Let's see what you guys come up with. Do you think there was one shooter? Do you think there were two shooters? What do you guys think? We'll see what you guys say. What do you think might have happened? Or maybe it was just one shooter. We'll see what you guys say. So there are two bullet holes in the window. There are four bullet holes in each dead body. What might have happened? What might have happened? That is indeed the question. Let's see what you guys come out with. Don't worry, you can keep your answer short. You could say the killer might have fired 10 times. You might say there might have been two shooters. We'll see what you guys say. Let's see. So there are two bullet holes in the window. There are four bullet holes in each dead body. What might have happened? So that's the question there. We'll see what you guys end up saying for this one. Try and keep your sentences simple. You don't need to write, long essays on this. It really is not needed. But yeah, you've got two dead bodies. You've got four bullet holes in each, so 8 shots in total. But then you've got two shots as well. You've got two bullet holes as well. So Alida says another killer must have shot through the window. Okay, there we go. Good sentence, Alida. De Burke says the killer must have spent 10 bullets. Okay, there we go. That's another good. That's another good sentence. The killer must have spent 10 bullets. 10 bullets. I think the most likely one we would do would probably say. I'm not sure about spent bullets. I'd have to look into that. I don't know enough about gun terminology. I know they can definitely say the killer must have fired off 10 rounds. I know that's something we can do. I'm not sure about spent 10 bullets, though. Okay, and finally, um, The book says the bullets must have been fired 10 times. The gun must have been fired 10 times. You could say uh, there must have been 10 bullets fired, for example, de Burke. The gun must have been fired 10 times. There must have been 10 bullets fired. You can play around with that language, but the bullets must have been fired 10 times. No, because we just need to change things around. If you're going to go with that sentence, then you have to talk about the gun as your subject rather than the bullets. So this is the last question. Well, this is the last thing, guys. The door of the safe is broken and there are burn marks around the door. What happened to the door of the safe? Okay. What happened to the door of the safe? So there are burn marks, or there are there are burn marks. Burnt marks, sorry, burnt marks. What am I saying? Burnt marks. Okay, I'm just going to change this over here because I've missed out something. That should be, there are burnt marks, past. So the door of the safe is broken and there are burnt marks around the door. So what happened to the door of the safe? What do you think, guys? What happened to the door? Do you think there was a fire? Do you think there was a bomb? What do you think? De Burke says the burglars must have been used special equipment. Ah, so close, De Burke. You don't need been. You can go straight to used. The burglars must have used special equipment. Then that would be the correct answer. You don't need to use being used. You can go straight to used. The burglars must have used special equipment. But that was nearly a really good sentence, though. Was very good. That was nearly a very good sentence. Alida says the killer might have used a bomb to break the door. Excellent, really good sentence. So well done, guys. Thank you so much. A big thank you to Alida, De Burke, Roberto, Evelina as well, Irina F. I know today was quite a difficult lesson, but it was always going to be a difficult lesson because it is modal verbs of deduction. But really well done, guys. Some really good stuff. And thank you very much for your contribution. So tomorrow we're going to go through the modal verbs that we've looked at this week. There will be something for absolutely everybody. There'll be something for elementary, intermediate, upper intermediate. There'll be something for everybody. So please make sure you join. Arena F says, thanks, take care. You're welcome, Arena F. Alida says, thanks, Richard. You're such a great teacher. Well, thank you very much, Alida. That's lovely of you to say. Evelina says, take care. Have a great evening. You too, Evelina. Roberto says, thank you. You too, Roberto. And De Burke says, thanks a lot for your lessons. You're welcome. Thank you, guys. Make sure you like the video, share as well, and subscribe as well, and to the channel. And I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 3 o'clock. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, and as always, if you want to find out how you can have physical lessons at AM Language, click on the description below and go to the link that takes you to our website. And make sure you follow us on social media as well. Thank you so much, everybody, and bye for now.